Hi, this is John Doe, aka Frags, with the DNB Academy, and welcome to another sound recreation video. And for this one, we're gonna be doing this amazing tune from Subfocus and Pola Bryson called Waiting, featuring Kelly Lee. Let's take a listen to the track first, and then I'll tell you which sound we're gonna be doing on this video. So yeah, this is the track. Love the track. I love this mix down. I love the sound design, everything in it. So yeah, we're gonna be doing the actual bass, the main bass we hear throughout the whole track, that 1/8 note dotted bass that we got going on here. That's what we're gonna be doing. All right, so let's flip the screen and open up an instance of Serum. As you can see already here, I did a MIDI. So this is how it sounds with the initial preset. So yeah, we got that covered. So let's start designing our patch to make this sound like the one Subfocus and the guys did. All right. So first things first, we need to choose our wavetable. I know that we're gonna go with the saw wave, which is a default wave on Serum, but I'd rather have it this way. All right, guys. So okay, let's increase these by 3 voices now and play a bit with the detune because we don't want this to be overly detuned. Let's crank up the master a little bit here as well. So we want a slight detune and we want to blend this so we get more information a bit in the middle. As you can hear, it gets a bit more mono, and that's what we want for this sound specifically. Okay, it's pretty good. And now let's turn on oscillator B, which is also going to be basic shapes, and we're going to use the saw wave as well. But this time, this is where we're going to be bringing the sauce to our recipe here. And what we're going to be doing is turning 1 octave higher and setting the semitone up to 7 semitones so we can create a perfect fifth. So this is actually what's gonna make us achieve that sound that we hear on their tune. So there we go. Like, see, that's what I'm talking about. Now it's just a matter of mixing both these oscillators so things can get a bit more balanced. All right. I would say somewhere around here, 60%, 50%. Let's leave this one with just 1 voice, all right? Perfect. Now let's get our filter running. So let's turn it on, and we're gonna go with the NG low 24 because we want this to be actually quite a bit of an aggressive low pass filter, all right? Let's assign oscillator B as well. So you'll see where I'm going to, right? So we've got the fundamental sound going in, you know, so we need to design our shape now because we do have the foundation for the main sound. Obviously, we're going to be tweaking this a little bit better in a bit, but for now, this is it. So it's just a matter of adding a sub oscillator, and now let's send the sub straight out. So this way we can have our low end completely unprocessed and richer low end now, as you can hear and see. So let's move on to our shape. Let's go and choose our envelope 1, in this case alpha 1, but on envelope mode, or no, in trigger mode, sorry. So that way we can loop it, obviously. And as you can hear on the original tune here, so this is an 8th note dotted pattern going on here, so that's what we need to mimic, okay? So let's go by choosing 8 notes here and the dotted mode. So obviously we need to tweak it down to 1/8 notes dotted. So this way we can achieve the same rhythm that we got going on the original track. And then it's a matter of shaping this up to fit the original track. So as you can see in here, it's just like it's sort of a wobble that makes a ramp up and at the end, it just goes down a little bit to create this sort of wobble effect. So by knowing that and analyzing that, we should have something like this, all right? Let's just make this belly a little bit roundy so it doesn't actually click. And now we need to assign this to the actual parameters that matter, which is our filter. So let's get this down a little bit. We'll get there later. And also our sub, because we want our sub to have the same rhythm as the filter. So it should sound something like this now. But as we can hear on the Subfocus tune here, it's quite a bit more open, so we need to get this filter on the right spot. Let's give a bit of drive here. Alright, and now we need to take care of our voicing here, so all the notes glide between each other perfectly. So let's turn everything on. Mono, legato, and always. Now it's way better. Okay. And once again, I think we reached that point where the patch is pretty similar. So we need to get the processing going to make this even more similar to the original track. Okay. So first things first, let's distort it. And we're going to apply this tube distortion, which is more than fine for this tune. And we're also going to assign our main envelope, in this case LFO, so the distortion also reaches its peak at the same time as the filter is open. So we can get the most out of those stops. That's exactly what they did on their synth. So as you can hear, things are getting brighter, all right? And now let's turn on the chorus right after it, just to give a bit more width to it. Decrease the low pass, increase the feed in 30%, and the mix somewhere around 35. And then it's just a matter of giving a bit more consistency to our track, to our sound in this case. So let's go with a compressor. We're gonna turn on the multiband. I'm gonna boost the mids. We don't want the tops to be like crazy open, because later on we're gonna be doing a bit of automation, in this case modulation to the track. That's what they do on their sound. So we need to think ahead. And since we know that we're going to be opening up the filter, we don't want this to be super cranked up. Otherwise, it's just going to hurt our ears on that process, all right? Let's get our lows there. Our mids are already super present, honestly. Let's just do the test. Let's open up the filter. Yeah, there we go. So let's keep up with our processing. We're not going to be doing much, but we're just going to add a bit more of a reverb. So let's low cut pretty much like everything up into like 50%, which is somewhere in the middle of the spectrum. All right, let's make like a really small reverb here. Let's just hear. All right, something like size at 6%, decay 1.3, low cut all the way in the middle, and then the mix up to your liking. But to make this more legit, you can give it like somewhere around 30%. All right, nice. So within Serum, we're pretty much there. I think what we need to add up to the sound is a bit of an external distortion, just to sort of bring everything up to the mix. So I'm going to use Isotope's Trash for this one, because it's just a really mild distortion that we want. So we can go with the blues driver here, but we're going to go into multiband, because we don't want to oversaturate and overdistort our low end, especially our sub. We want it to come out as clean as possible. The mids, they are already there, all right? So we managed with the OTT and the multiband compressor we used on Serum, we got there. So what needs to be sort of like more proeminent on both these three spectrum layers that we got going on here are the tops, right? So let's just distort them a little bit. So let's use this blues driver, just distort it a tiny bit. Okay. And that's what we want, something just like this, like super subtle, all right? Then with this distortion, you actually brought up quite a bit of the reverb, so let's tame it down a bit. All right, cool. So next step would be, honestly, just matching up, getting back to Serum again, and just tweaking the detune here, and possibly the blend between both oscillators. So we can achieve something that sounds closer to this. But as you can hear here, like the filter is way more closed and it starts to open up. So we need to take that in consideration. If you want to actually replicate the sound, we need to make that that filtering going on. But first, let's just do some final tweakings here on the detune. Just so we get to something closer. This is a good exercise for you guys, you know? It's all sound design is about, practicing and seeing what each knob can affect the sound, you know? Like just by mixing this, we can change the sound so much, you see? All right, so to wrap the sound up, we're going to be applying this macro to our cutoff, so we can actually do what the guys are doing here on the track, which is opening up the filter in sort of like a constant way to make things a bit more interesting, you know? This is just a simple way of making your sounds feel more dynamic. You don't have to make crazy automations and like put loads of sounds on top of things. If you treat your sounds like perfectly, or at least with more care and more attention, all right? So let's do that. Let's automate the filter cutoff, like slowly. It's actually just here that it starts to open up a bit more. Then it goes back down again, as you can hear. All right, so let's just apply the final processing element here, which is an auto filter. So that way we can balance the way the filter from the synth and this one is working, so we can actually make the sound a bit more close to its original one, which doesn't have that much eye hand presence, or at least that much distortion there, as you can hear. So to emulate that and make it better, we're gonna automate this filter frequency as well. So you should start like this, with the amount on 900 Hertz, and then do pretty much what we did there, just slowly opening it up. So yes, this is it. Now let's take a listen with like playing this on top of the original tracks. I'm just gonna take some of the lows from the original one, so this bass can have more impact. We probably need to tweak the volume a little bit, but let's take a listen and see if it fits, right? So yeah, there you go, guys. I think we're pretty much there. The sound sounds legit. It's just a matter of picking this up, adapting to your sound, and getting to know one of the most used techniques to design basses within the drum and bass realm. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.